LAZ Gen Pop Gang in the building. You heard? I'm in the city. I'm walking around editing. You feel what I'm saying? The grind will never stop. But yo, this is a new series that we cooking up. It's called War with Schenectady, New York. Know what I mean? Starring my bro Black Knowledge. You feel me? And this is part one. This part one is just giving you a breakdown of how he met the crime partners that helped him go to war in Schenectady, New York. We're giving you the whole backstory, front story, and everything else, you heard? So comment, gang, I need y'all to tear this up. You heard? Make sure that algorithm, get it crunk. Get that nice and fluffy. You heard? Z-Man Suicide Polo with the ski man, running around the hood like He-Man. You know I'm always out here working. You heard? Shout out to the bro FO. Shout out to InSource TV. Shout out to the bro Herb. You feel what I'm saying? Major things is gonna take place real soon. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned in like a tuning fork. You heard? You need that promo? Get at me, cause my promo, Organic Farms. You heard? Organic Valley. And that's a whole flaxseed. Get at me, Z-Lord.
They robbed the joint, robbed my workers, talked greasy to them and all that, and then left them with parting shots. Like, yeah, whoever your bosses is, tell your bosses they dumb as fuck for having y'all little niggas up here in these spots and all that without no hammer and all that. And if they want to get with us, you know, SOS, straight out of Schenectady. Niggas know who we be, they know who we are. Tell them it's SOS, straight out of Schenectady, get with us. Okay, right. That makes it that much easier, you dummies. I don't have to do the recon to find out who you are because you just told me who you are, right? And who y'all were, and that y'all with the action. Oh, call-outs, right? I always tell you, last call-outs is mandatory. Let's get it.
So, yo, bro, you said it was a point in your life where you actually had to go to war with dudes from Schenectady, New York?
Yes, sir. That's a fact. That's a whole fact, homie. Wow. So the Schenectady story is another one of those interesting stories because it has a lot of intricacies, a lot of different players, and things of that nature. So you know, with me, lads, like when I tell these stories and all that, and I'm giving it to you from, you know, my recollection of how it went down, I kind of always like to introduce you and the people that be listening to the players, right? The people that are involved in these situations, so that y'all could get a feel for the players, and I guess I'm hoping a better understanding of how everything went down. So, or how these things go down that I'm describing in these stories, how these events go down. So, to get to the Schenectady story again, we gotta, you know what I mean, get introduced to the players and how I got introduced to these players and how we interacted and then how we ended up dealing with the situation that we were dealing with up in Schenectady, New York in like 1999, 2000, 2001, those years right there. So the introduction of some of those players is interesting because, you know, I told you all them stories about things that I went through and things that I was doing in my life and the people that I was involved. So this chapter is like a generation, will be a generation or two after us. And some of these players are connected with some of the players that you'll recall me speaking about in numerous of my other stories. So to get right to it, one of the main players in the Schenectady situation with me was the little homie Killer. Killer is little homie from out of Fort Greene Projects in Brooklyn, and Killer is also the little brother of the homie that I referenced to in numerous stories as J-Rock. So J-Rock, who was my crime and my man, and who I was running around with up north behind them walls in the state penitentiaries. He has a little brother that was a generation 2 behind him named Killer. And right, so that's an introduction to one particular player, Killer. Got to get to how me and Killer met, and you know what I mean, whatever. Then another player, also from out of Fort Greene, with the era of the little homie Killer, I believe that was, and that's Killer's co-defendant from them cases they had back then, would be the little homie Hookoff. Little homie Hookoff from Fort Greene, was definitely a super duper major player and all of that. And then, the little homies from down my way in Sumner, the little homies and shit, from the projects that I mentioned when I get to the, to those parts of the story. So we got to start with Hook first, because I met Hook first before I met Killer. So to get to Hook Off, and then we're going to transition into the roles he played in the story. But first, you got to understand who he was and how he became significant with me, right, and in my life and shit. So I told you, when I got out of Southport, out of that box situation from that Comstock incident in 1990, I told you I got out of Southport on a time cut in 1992, and they sent me to Coxsackie, right? And when I went to Coxsackie in 92, Coxsackie was, as I told you, full of dudes, from all over New York City, all of the 5 boroughs. Dudes from upstate New York, Bing, Syracuse, Rock, Buffalo, Rochester, all that, Buffalo and all that. So, it was a lot of players in Coxsackie when I got there. Also, Coxsackie, I told you, was younger. Those brothers was younger than me, and they was, young and wild, on the young and wild shit. Also, I told you, in 92 and the Cat and all that, I met the guards, Albon and all them, and Mecca and all them, and Wise, and he later on at some point formed that group 7 Up that we're gonna get to, that you've been wanting to discuss with the homies for a minute. So we definitely gonna get to that 7 Up. Shout out to the whole 7 Up. Y'all know what it is. We're gonna get to that. So when I got out the Southport and they sent me to Coxsackie and they put me in population, I'm running around in population in the Cat, meeting dudes, introducing myself to dudes, getting dudes introduced to me and shit. And that was a monumental moment too for anybody from New York City, especially Brooklyn, heavy on the Brooklyn tip, Brownsville, the East, the Star, the Heights, all that. When I came out of Southport in 92 and they sent me to Coxsackie and put me in population, when I went to the center yard, the first time in the center yard, I was in the back by the pull-up bar, and the whole New York City pulled up. Because, prison, what's interesting about upstate prison, that you meet a lot of dudes, especially if you travel a lot like I did. I didn't spend the majority of my time in one prison. I was in about 10, 11, 12 state prisons, mostly because of disciplinary reasons, whatever. They kept shipping me because I was, doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't doing what they wanted me to do. So anyway, when you run around the prison system like that, you develop a name for yourself and a reputation, and people hear about you and people know about you. And, people be like, okay, I heard that's Boy. We heard about Boy. Boy is this type of character, caliber individual that we like and we fuck with. So, people come pay their respects. So when I was in the back, in the center yard in the back, all them cats from Queens, from Harlem, from the Bronx, from Brooklyn, Staten Island, and all that, they pulled up and was introducing themselves to me. So everybody that was in the Cat, 1992, the center yard, Black Dollars came out of the hole and got in the population will remember that day when New York City pulled up. Definitely heavy on the Brooklyn. So at that time, one of my co-defendants was in a Cat, and that was my co-defendant Scotty, and So I hadn't seen Scotty in a minute since Elmira, since we went up north and was together in Elmira when I was in Elmira with H and Scotty, my other co-defendant H. But anyway, I get up, I'm in population with Scotty. Scotty pulls me to the back of the yard, and as you know, everybody coming up, spinning the yard and pulling up, introducing themselves. Scotty's like kind of giving me a little brief history of them because he'd been in the spot. He gave me a brief history of who the dudes are. Yo, that's such and such, or whatever. They be with such and such, whatever. If these dudes are solid, these dudes get busy, these dudes steer clear of. You know what I mean? You know how the prison shit, politics go, homie. When you get to the spot and you got peoples in the spot that been in the spot, they gonna give you the rundown. You know what I mean? And let you know what it's hitting for in that joint. So that's what Scotty was doing. Scotty was giving me the rundown, letting me know what it was hitting for in the cat. And all them dudes came up, showed love. I remember Lele, you know what I mean, the homie Lele from Queens that was on the boxing team with me and Elmira, he was there. He pulled up with his Queens mob, introduced me to the Queens cats he was running with in the cat. They showed love. You know, I met the Brownsville dudes, you know what I mean? I met Al G, the dude they refer to as Al Jeter, little homie that C's always talking about in his joints. He pulled up, homie Waddell, and the Brownsville homies, you know what I mean? Brownsville homies came up to show love. Of course, it was all the best style. Homies was up in there deep, you know what I mean? The homie Preem from Notion, BL, his brother BL, you know what I mean? All them dudes was in there. Actually, Preem wasn't there. BL was there. BL brother, I knew Preem from Elmira. I never met his brother BL. I heard about his brother. So when I got to the cat, his brother pulled up with the best crew, Notion Avenue crew. Little homie Mano was there. You know what I mean? So, you know, everybody pulled up to that center yard pull-up section by that pull-up and that dip bar back there and introduced themselves and show love. It was beautiful. I appreciate it. And that endeared me to certain cats, you know what I mean, even more throughout that prison shit and throughout life. But so anyway, one day I'm in Cagsaki Center, we in the center yard, and I see a little dude, and what drew me instantly on sight to the little dude was that the little dude reminded me of an image and the look of my little brother Poison, back from when we was, you know, younger. I guess when he would have been around at the same age as that young brother that I'm referencing now was. So that was the first thing that drew me to him. That I said, oh shit, this little nigga looked like my little brother when we was coming up. Second thing, what drew me to the little homie was his war wounds, right? You know, I guess he was in his little battles or whatever, and he had, you know, the war wounds that you get in prison when you go into war with cats. You know what I mean? He had some, you know, some scars or whatever on his face and all that. And they were pronounced and, you know, noticeable. So that was the second thing that drew me to him, right? The physical appearance. Third thing was little homie character. I peeped the little homie character. I was watching, he was quiet, he was very observant. His eyes was always on alert, he was always watching. I don't know if that was from his remnants of his war days and whatever, for him acquiring his war wounds, or, you know, that was just a part of his character, but he was on point, right? And I'm an on point person, so I peep and pay attention to people who are on point, because I know that them, based on them being on point, they think and move a certain way that I can relate to. So I pay attention to shit like that. So anyway, as I told you in one of the other stories, after I got with the guards, we built and whatever, we doing the music shit and all that. I'm telling dudes, you know, still academically, yo, they giving out a free education up in this joint, right? College-bound education and all that is for free. We in here, we ain't got a lot to do. Let's get some of this education, right? Because it's gonna help us when we get out there. So now we all in college. Shout out to the homie Mano, man. The homie Mano was a wild boy, and in the cat, little young wild ass Mano. He, you know, him and that. I brought Mano up because one of the instances that I'm referring to about being in college. I remember Mano and one of the other homies came up there and jumped and they could blow up the spot and all. I had the teachers running around screaming, they all fighting in the hallway on some real funny, wild young boy shit. I was like, yeah, this little spot is lit. I like it. The little homies here get to the action. Ain't nobody faking no jacks. It's a vibe. I dig it. So again, my whole life, I told you I played ball or whatever. That transferred over to when I was in prison. I was playing ball on the state prison teams and all that, and doing our thing on the ball shit. And that was the fourth thing that drew me to the little homie that I'm referring to, and the person that I'm talking about is Little Hook Off from Fort Greene. The fourth thing that drew me to the little homie was that he was a baller, and he was nice and ball. Coming from the hood, if you play ball and you nice and ball and you like ball, you pay attention to other cats that's nice and you enjoy, watching them, dish out their niceness, right? So I'm a fan of the sport as well as a player. So right, those was all the things that made me pay attention to the little homie, and I don't even know exactly how it started, how it occurred, but we began talking. Actually, we began talking because he came to E block, and that's the block they sent me. I was on E1, and they made me the police was digging my movements and all that. I was quiet, militant, didn't fuck with a lot of people. Whatever. They approached me, yo, you want a porter job? Porter jobs, in prison is pretty dope because it allows you to move around and get to things before other people, and it allows you to, check shit out, figure out where to stash your joints at and all that, your little weapons and all that. So a porter spot is a coveted spot in prison and shit. So I had the porter spot in E1 and shit, and I think Hook came down to E1 and was on my gallery. And as a porter, I'm giving out hot water at night and all that other shit, feed up trays to the dudes on keep lock and all that. And I don't know how it happened, but I began speaking to the little homie Hook Off, and then speaking to him, came to realize he was also in college too. Born and I, we was all in college. Little Hook Off was there, so I'm like, all right, this little dude keeps popping up in my presence, right? Let me reach out to him, because he never came over with the dudes when they came, because he a couple generations under me. So he probably felt if he was out there in his age group of dudes, they probably felt, yeah, that's probably the big homie. We don't know him, but we're gonna just keep our distance, and if ever opportunity presents to, get with them, then we'll get with them on, their terms, right? Not the terms that everybody else is on, but they different generations, so they do things differently. Anyway, we building and shit, and I took a liking to the little homie. He was smart, intelligent little dude, had a little heart, he wasn't no coward and shit, and he was respectful, right? So he was on man time. That's another major thing about this whole Schenectady shit. Everybody involved in the situation is on man time, and man time means that we do shit that men do, not things that men don't do. So if you're a man and you understand what men do, then that statement that I made is self-explanatory. So now I developed a rapport with the little homie Hook Off, and one of the conversations that I had with him, I let him know once we became getting familiar with each other, we became cool. I had to let him know that, yo, listen, homie, I heard about the little situation that you had that got you some of your little war wounds, and that situation involved one of my little homies, from down Marcy. Everybody know that. Homie Hook, homie Little Shoe had their little situations. Little Shoe Shine, that was my little man from my era, right? I took the little homie Shoe Shine on his first robbery, his very first robbery ever. I took him, put the joint in his hand, and so he never forgot that. And I didn't know what type of indelible impressions those actions and interactions that we had left on him, but he would explain those to me years later. But anyway,
what type of part itself? What type of robbery was that though? Like a stick up?
Yeah, stick up. A stick up. I put the very first gun that Shoe ever had in his hand. Also, similar situation. So let me explain something to you, homie. Right? And you'll get to see this more and more, and as these stories develop. And I'm quite sure you got a gander and a peek of it, right? In a lot of the other stories, but. I'm specifically talking about myself and my connection with people. And one of the stories I told you, I said I was the dude that a lot of dudes from a lot of different areas fucked with. And I said the dudes that liked me, and the dudes that didn't like me for whatever reason they didn't like me. But the dudes that like me and fuck with me are vast and major, and they're well-known dudes in wherever areas that they're from and that they were frequenting, that they were, doing their thing in, right? So these are the people the types of people that I develop rapport with. Men, again, man time, solid shit. So I developed that earlier rapport with the little homie Shoe Shop, put the first gun in his hand and took him on his first little stick up, and he performed nicely. Same thing with the little homie E. But they refer to him out in Queens as E Moneybags. But he from Sumner, my projects. We just referred to him as Lil E. That was the little homie. He was in my crib. I put the first guns in his hand. He didn't know what he was doing. He shot the gun off in the crib in the room to kill everybody on some accidental young bullshit. But he was young, he was hungry, he was eager, and I knew that he had it in him. He had that look. Some look back in the days that we referred to as the Jordash look, you know what I mean, lads? So if you peep a little homie, he got the Jordash look in his eyes and all that, he about his business. He's somebody you keep your eye on. Shoe had the Jordash look. E, later on, Lil E Moneybags had the Jordash look. So them dudes got to interact with me and get the game from me. So getting back to Hook, and then they did whatever they did with that information and went on to become who they were in their respective areas, right? Backdrop. Get back to the little homie Hook in this conversation. I'm letting them know, like, listen, homie, I like your style, whatever. I dig you. I fuck with you and all that. And your peoples, another part of Backdrop that I didn't also mention was that, and if I did, I'm going to reiterate to expand on it, was the fact that Hook Off was co-defendants with the little dude, Killer. Killer is J-Rock's little brother. J-Rock and me caught the situation in Comstock and all that, the charges and all that. So J-Rock is like now considered a crimey of mine, right? We fuck with each other heavy because we shed blood together and got busy together in a warlike situation. So any affiliations or kinships to dudes like that I fuck with are immediately by default considered kin to me as well, because if you my man little brother, then you gonna be my little brother too. When I run across you, I'm gonna treat you with the same love and respect as I treat my man, because I wouldn't call him my man if I didn't have a high reverence for him. You dig, lads? So when I run across they little homies get the same treatment. So by default, because Hook Off was the co-defendant of Killer, and Killer's the little brother of J-Rock, Hook Off, in my eyes, starts to receive the treatment of a little bro, right? So I'm building with him, and I'm letting them know, Shoe is also my little bro, right? I wasn't there when y'all had y'all little situation in the full building, right? Because I know that I heard about it, but I'm letting you know right now, because I know that when blood is shed in war, right? That's long lasting, right? Sometimes before shit get to the bloodshed, if you could dissolve it and dead it, that's cool. It could possibly be, but once blood is shed, homie, then all bets are off, right? Because we gotta shed blood back. If you shed my people blood, and I'm assuming that the people that who blood we shed feel they gotta shed blood back, right? So once blood is shed, lines are drawn. You know what I mean? You dig in and you ride with your side, and you get with it. So I already knew that that's a blood feud between them two, but I'm letting the little homie Hook know, listen, I like you, I fuck with you, whatever, but this is my little man too, right? Knew him before I knew you. So if it ever comes to a situation or head where we all around the same spot together and y'all two see each other, y'all got to handle y'all business, I'm letting you know I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm stepping back and letting y'all handle that as men, right? Because I fuck with both of y'all, and I already know I can't get it. I can't stop it, because I just said blood was shed. Ain't no stopping bloodshed drama. So I'm not gonna pick a side. I'm gonna step back and hope y'all both standing, but the best man gonna win, right? So he respected that, and he appreciated the fact that I informed him of my relation with the homie Shoe and my connection. And that allowed him to make an informed decision on how he wanted to move or proceed with respect to me, right? We got past all that. He he jacked it. We, you know what I mean? I jacked his little style. We fucking with each other, whatever, right? Just on some cool shit, just playing ball together in the yard, talking about Brooklyn shit, because I told you he was connected to the dudes that I knew, so he telling me his Fort Greene stories and his OGs, and you know what I mean? So we building and balling in that matter. You know what I mean? He reminded me of my little bro boys and shit, so it's like almost like I got my little brother right here with me and shit, and it's helping me get through the bed and pass the time. So, you know, time going a little bit. That was the backdrop. That's my beginnings of developing the relationship with the little homie Hookoff. Introduced the players with that. Eventually, I had to blow the spot up in Cat. You know what I mean? Touch something, and end up having to go back to the box. And see, this is another thing too, lads, that I never probably mentioned in any of my stories, but I'm gonna mention it now. I don't like to do the same shit, homie, right? So if I went to prisons for these type of violent crimes or whatever, I'm trying to, and I was able to live past a certain period of time in life where it was up and it was a lot of wild shit going on. Once I elevate past that, homie, I try to continue that elevation and not revert backwards and do the same type of shit that, you know what I mean, put me in negative, adverse positions. So I'm trying to elevate and not, you know, fall backwards. So by me going to the box for them 4 years, catching that box time in Comstock for 4 years, I'm like, damn, this shit is crazy. Could have been.
Upon self, what was it that made you feel like you had to blow the spot up in Kagsaki? Was it something that serious, something from the streets, some jail shit? Like, what was so crazy where you like, fuck it, I had to just throw it all away?
Yo, it's homie, man. That's why I say I fuck with you with these stories, homie, because you feel my energy, you feel my vibe, and you latch on to something that you know that's about to be a serious response from me, and you catch me and you take me right there. So I told you I'm on man time, right? I was on man time since I was introduced to man time from the big homies and shit. I'm in Elmira. Man time means all men. I don't care where they from, homie. I'm from Brooklyn. Everybody know that. I represent Brooklyn. Sumner Projects, Bed-Stuy, do or die to the death. Everybody knows that, right? But I also told you in the introduction in some of the stories that I respect all hitters, right? From any and everywhere. I respect you if you a hitter and you on man time, because I was a hitter and I was on man time, right? So I respect those that do the things that I did and was able to live and tell about it. I'm in Elmira, building different bars with different dudes from out of Queens, affiliated with Fat Cat and all them dudes, and Nacy and all of them dudes. You know, all these situations, if you know, you know. There's a dude out of there named Rob, Dawson dude named Rob. That was my man. I took a liking to Rob while in the L. Rob and I used to run around, chop it up. Cool dude, smooth dude from Queens. I'm not sure if he had the elbow or not, but I know he was involved with them Queens dudes in that getting money era when they was mixing all that money and murder together. Them dudes was coming through, getting all that time. Shout out to the homie P-Man and all that from Queens, Lele and all that, Lakey and all them dudes from Queens that was coming through on the prison systems, holding it down. Backdrop, that's what it was. Rob, that was my man from Queens. I fucked with Queens dudes heavy. He was a solid dude. I liked him. Fast forward, I'm in Kagsaki. This was 88, 89 in Elmira with the homie Rob. Fast forward, 92, I'm in Kagsaki. Population, I got the job in E1 as the porter. I'm the porter on E1. Dudes go through transit when they get transferred from one prison to the next prison, right? So sometimes they do stoppers and holdovers. So the homie Rob, which was my homie from back in 88, 89 in Elmira, this is now 92, like 3-4 years, almost 5 years later, pulls up in the spot. I see the homie, you know what I mean, in transit, like moving around. I was moving somewhere, he was moving, spot him in the hallway. Yo, homie, what's good? Yo, you good? Yo, you coming to population? Da-da-da-da-da-da, whatever. You know, homie chilling. He had the state green army jacket. So if you know, you know. You had to been in the state prisons of New York system. I mean, the state prisons of New York City to know about the attire that I'm referring to. The army jackets is those fatigue style type. They're not even a windbreaker, but you know what I'm referring to. Last, the army jackets, the material that they are, the little hoodie, and in state prisons, ours were green. So when you have having an army jacket in prison back then, especially when I was coming up in the 80s, was akin to having a polo goose. Back in the days, dudes was jacking dudes, cutting dudes, robbing dudes, beating dudes up, running the dudes' cells.
Yeah, if you wasn't
for the army coat.
If you wasn't on a certain level of real up north, in some spots, you couldn't even have an army coat.
That's a fact.
Niggas will steal your shit. If they don't take it, they'll steal it just to disrespect you for having it.
Right, if they don't feel, because army, right, signifies what? War, right? So if you had to be war ready or war tested and tried, and you stood for dudes to really respect you and jack you in them good old army jackets, because niggas, like you said, was taking those, right? So anyway, Rob had one. That was the fly attire in state prisons. Army jackets and Timberland boots, right? Army jackets, you get your state green pants, altered and all that, get them straightened up a little bit, throw your crisp butters on. You saying something, running around in state prison, got a little shine on your neck, you saying something. You niggas like, all right, he got the look, so either he about that action and all that, or he not. Some people will test you and find out, others will respect it. But anyway, the homie came through the cat in transit. I got a chance to see him in the hall, spoke to him in passing. I told him where I was at. He sent me a kite. Let me, because he knew my name and my DIN number. Like everybody that you in tune with up top, they name and they DIN number. So if they ever get transferred and move to another location, you're able to stay in contact and communication with them through knowing their name and DIN number and finding out what prison that they went to, and you send them a kite. Kite is a letter, you know what I mean, in the mail that you get or get passed throughout the prison system too. That's what we refer to as the kites. So he sent me a kite and said, "Yo, good to see you, homie, blah, blah, blah. This is what's going on in my life. You know what I mean? I'm transitioning over this way, working on these appeals or whatever. They got me going to Green Haven." I think he signed up for a college program or work program, whatever, in the state of in Green Haven, correctional facilities. Green Haven was one of the better, I guess, air quotes, what I'm doing with my hands that you can't see. I guess Green Haven was one of the better state max penitentiaries in upstate New York, meaning it was a little more lenient on the movement and the lockdown and shit. You had more movability, could run around, get money, whatever. He was going to that spot for whatever reason. Also, back in the days, we had what was referred to as, in my era, we called it the loudmouth, right? The loudmouth was a big cassette player, right? You wasn't allowed to get recorders into the prison because the prison don't want you recording their foul deeds and getting that information out to the public, right? Prisons like to keep the things that they do in their prisons inside the prisons and out of the eyesight of the general public. That way they can do foul shit and get away with it. More backdrop. But the loudmouth was another thing of interest and contention in state prisons. If you had a big ass loudmouth in your cell and niggas didn't come in there and take it, it was saying something about you and your ability to hold on to your shit while you was in prison. Loudmouth, cassette player, you get cassettes from New York. That's what from the streets, and that's how we listened to music back then, on cassette. Damn, that's going back. Cassette. When the last time you saw cassette? Right? The fuck?
Yeah, man. I was in jails where we was getting our hands on the recorder. The shit that the civilians be having.
Yep.
And we was making rap tapes.
That was crazy. The recorders is also the shit that they use when you go to those disciplinary hearings, right?
Exactly. That's where they come from.
When they finna give you that asshole full of time and put you in the shoe. But all right, let's keep it to the story. The homie Rob just let me know he was only coming through the cat in transit, and he was gonna keep it pushing, but for us to stay in contact, stay in touch. So cool. That's what happened. I got that kite from him, and I think I heard through the prison grapevine that a week or two later that Knowledge, your homie, whatever he left, he said he sends his love. Let you know, make sure you write and stay in contact. Right? Cool. He leaves. Again, I'm still doing my thing in the cat without born them the music, with the college, whatever, building with dudes, meeting dudes, still being a porter. About a month goes by after the homie left. Maybe not even a month or something similar to that. I get a kite in the mail. You know what I mean? I don't recognize the name on the return address, but it's addressed to me with my name, my DIN number. So I open it up and I read it, and I'm, you know how to, back then the kites were peace, comrade, and hope this missive finds you, all the terminology dudes used from the prison system back then. So I kind of flipped to the back page because I'm like, I wanted to know who this was from before I even get all engaged in reading it. So I flipped and I see it's raw. Oh, quick! I said, oh shit, the homie, that's my man. He just left. Like, oh, he writing me probably to let me know what's going on in Green Haven, and cool. So now I get back into the letter and enjoying it, like, yeah. So I get to the part where, the homie said, yo, also, homie, I want you to let you know that, them niggas over there in Coxsackie in that receiving room or whatever, that draft room, they robbed me right on my way out the door or whatever. When I got to Green Haven, all my shit wasn't here. That was another thing in prison. A coveted spot was the pack-up room or the receiving room or the draft room where those prisoners worked there, and they get first eyesights and dibs on dudes coming in property, right? And those dudes that weren't on man time and playing sticky finger games, they would steal shit and take shit from those and get to the spot and be like, yo, fuck, I had 5 draft bags, I only got 4 now, and mad shit missing, right? So that shit caused a lot of problems in prison because I don't like a thief, homie. I don't like a thief. I don't like a sneak thief. I respect a robber, somebody that's gonna go to somebody and take their shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I don't respect nobody that's gonna sneak steal, right? That's coward shit in prison. Nobody likes a sneak thief. So I get to the part of the letter, he like, yeah, niggas stole my shit. They stole my army coat and my loudmouth and all that. These are 2 of the things that I told you were highly coveted in prison. Army coat and a loudmouth, right? They stole this from my man. I'm furious. I'm reading this. I'm furious. Because we got the spot, right? I got the spot. I'm in the cat. It's a fact. I came in and I did what I did, do how I do, moved where I moved, and I took the spot, right? Not myself, but I had the spot with the homies. Brooklyn, all that. We had the spot. That was us, Coxsackie, 92, 93, anybody that was there, they know it. Facts that I talk always. So I immediately start sending kites and missiles out to the homies in the jail. Yo, who the fuck worked in the receiving room in the pack-up room? Kind of find out it's a white boy that worked down there and a Spanish boy, shit. Leaving names out the joint, whatever, but niggas that know. It's a white boy in the pack-up room, the Spanish boy in the pack-up room, and the word that got back from after the homies did the intel and found out what was that these dudes down there in the pack-up room were known for pulling stunts and stealing dudes' property and getting away with it because one of the dudes, the main dude, the white dude, was in honor block, right? And you know how prisons are. You know, if you could stay out of trouble for X amount of time and you put in a request and they accept you, you could go to a block called honor block. Honor block is a block where, although you're still in prison, you get a lot more freedom and movability and shit like that, a lot more privileges and shit, right? Privileges are covered in the prison because you don't really get a lot of those. It's all about incarceration and keeping you locked down or whatever. But when you get into a spot like an honor block where you can bust some moves and have a little bit more freedom, some dudes look to do that. Some dudes don't. Honor block in Coxsackie was in the dorm. Coxsackie is a Max B penitentiary, so Maxes are typically all cells. Coxsackie was all cells except for they had that portion in the cat where the dorms were, and I believe they were using the dorms for some mess hall workers and honor block. So honor block was down in the dorm. In Coxsackie, the procedure was you had to be, I think, 120 days free of any misbehavior reports or any infractions or problems before you can apply to get in the honor block. And once you apply and they do the background check and see you haven't had any of those things I just previously mentioned regarding misbehavior reports and infractions, then, you know, they put you on a list and they get you in. So anyway, the dude that worked down in the receiving room, that dude did the most stealing, was in honor block. The other Spanish dude was in population. So once I had homies do the diligence, the kind of recon, who the dude, Spanish dude that worked, boom, they found the Spanish dude. Shout out to the little homie Gotti too, my little homie Gotti. He was from upstate Albany, New York. Gotti was a pivotal figure running around with me in Coxsackie when we was enforcing laws and doing what we was doing. So shout out to the homie Gotti from up in, I believe he was from Albany, upstate New York. So Gotti found out and gave me the information one day in the mess hall that, Spanish boy was in such and such block, and actually he was there. He pointed him out to me, and he was going around the chow hall or whatever to get his tray and all that, and I seen him, and he had the actual army jacket on, because the homies did the research and found out and said, this nigga been in this jail for X amount of time. He ain't never had an army jacket the whole fucking time he been here. Now all of a sudden, when your man leave, homie, and his coat is missing, this dude pops up with an army jacket. So that might be the joint. I shot a quick kite to the homie, had him describe the army jacket to me. We kept eyes on homie, just kept it quiet, because nobody knew that I got the kite from my homie, and nobody knew that I knew that these dudes robbed my man. So, we had the advantage of secrecy, because nobody knew, what we knew, and they wouldn't know it until we acted upon that information, which is what happened. So I wrote the homie, had him describe the coat to me. He wrote me back, described the coat, peeped homie in the mess hall and peeped him outside to the yard and all that a couple times. And he had that coat, right? That my homie Rob described. That was his coat. So I said, all right. Had same thing. Had the homies point out the white boy to me in the mess hall, right? That was an honor block. They pointed him out to me. I know what he looked like, right? I sent a kite to my man. Was the dudes working that day when you went on the draft? Did they, was it a Spanish dude and was it a white dude, and did they look like this and da-da-da-da? He wrote me back, yes, that's exactly who it was, da-da-da, yeah, and I know it was the white boy that stole my shit because he was acting mad shifty when he was looking at my shit when I was packing. All right, cool. So now we identified the culprits, you know what I mean, Laz? So now it's about implementing justice, right? And executing that justice on these birds because of the violation. They didn't even know it was coming. But again, they in different blocks, so all the blocks don't mingle. And a lot of dudes from honor block don't play the yard because they don't want to get into trouble and get kicked out of honor block, or they don't want to go to the yard and get got upside their head because they ass, right? That's how they got the honor block, because they was ass and they was scared and they wanted to go out of population. Anyway, so now it's about, all right, so the homies step up, right? That's what dudes do, right? If you got problems with dudes and you can't get to them and your homies is there, your homies is gonna get to them for you. They're gonna step up. So I couldn't get to the dude, the Spanish dude, and I think the yard time that he came out wasn't consistent with the yard times that I came out, or I don't know how it went. I just wasn't catching them. The homies and them was able to catch him. They got to him. Pressed him, caught him, cornered him up in the mess hall one day when we came and had him, and it was like, I told him, I said, homie, come outside on such and such wreck, whatever, play the yard, if you know what I mean, play the yard, right? Because so now he's on point because they pressed him, and he probably did some inquiries, because it's always dudes that hear about shit and can't hold water, might run their mouth and it slips and get to the next person, eventually, so maybe he got, after he did his little diligence, he got wind of the fact that, dudes was on his ass about that army jacket. So he stopped coming to the yard. And you know what I mean? He wasn't coming out to the yard. So I'm like, all right, sent the message, found out what gallery he was on, what block, had the homies press him up there on the block. They pressed him, whatever. He gave the code up. You know what I mean? They was going to put them holes in him. He didn't want that. He gave the code up with the quickness. got the Army jacket back. So now I got that, right? So I got that in my cell. The homie Gotti got that. He got it to me. I got that in my cell. I'm holding that. So I write the homie. I said, yo, homie, I got, one down, one to go. I said, we ain't wet him yet, but we gonna wet him. He gonna get the justice. But he gave back the coat. I got the jacket. What you want me to do to you? Want me to send it home to your crib, or his whole? And then when I get the loudmouth, same thing. He said, nah, I don't even want that, homie. You don't do whatever with it, what you want to do it with it, keep it or whatever. I don't want it. I just don't want them niggas to have it, right? Because they did some coward shit in order to get it. I don't want no cowards having my shit like that. Enough said. Say no more, homie. I got you. I see the dude from the honor block, the white boy in the mess hall. I keep telling him, yo, homie, play the yard. He wouldn't play the yard. Because he knew, I guess, from the Spanish dude, must have told him, yo, dudes is on our ass. They came with knives. I had to give up the Army jacket. They know you got the radio and all that, and the other shit, the food and all that you stole. They coming for you. They on your ass. So now he not coming out. He ducking chows and all that. So I can't even get to him. So I said, all right. Right? So you can't play with me, Laz. Because I think, right? I'm a thinker. I'm a tactical thinker, right? And I did that in the streets, but I learned how to do it even more so in prison, right? So when you want to play games with me, we gonna play, right? I like chess though, right? Everybody don't like to play chess because they don't know how, but I like to play chess. So if you gonna play with me, know we playing chess as far as I'm concerned. So I knew that it took 120 days, ticket free, incident report free, or whatever, to get in the honor block. So for 120 days, Lance, I played my cell. I'm the porter. I got food. I got, comments and money and all that. Those are all different stories. But I got lockerfuls of food. So I don't need to go to the mess hall. I can self-sustain in my fucking cell for like a year or two if I had to, off of the shit that I had, right? So, and my cell and other dudes' cells in their lockers. So I'm good with respect to that. Plus, I'm the porter. I get the feed up trays that come from the mess hall to give them to the dudes on keep lock and PC status and all that. Plus, it's always extra trays, so I get that too. So I'm cool. 120 days. I played my cell and only came out to do work on the gallery as a porter, and once in a while went out to the yard to lift weights, work out, build with the homies quick fast, get back to the blocks. You know what I mean? Because I had a plan, and my plan was to be 120 days incident free, so I could go down to Honor Dome, catch the white boy that was hiding, and give him the business. Because I already had in my mind that I was giving him the business, meaning I was blowing up the spot, meaning that when I caught him, I was cutting or stabbing him wherever I caught him at. And I knew that was going to result in me leaving the jail and going back to the box to do box time. I accepted that. I knew what the consequences of my actions that I was planning were going to be, and I was willing to hold that because of my man. One of my peoples from Queens. You violated my man. My man can't get with you. That's my man. I'm gonna get with you for him. Plus, I gave you chances, numerous chances to come outside like a man, give the property back like a man, get your justice like a man, and you probably would have been able to live and stay in the jail, right? But you want to do coward shit and hide? All right, let's play chess now. 120 days go through, and see, so the police too, right? They pay attention to a lot of shit. Police aren't dummies, right? And I had these old timers on my gallery that ran my gallery, the police that ran the gallery, E1. I can't remember their names, but nobody wanted to come to E Block because the police in E Block was on some nut asshole dickhead shit, right? And everybody hated the police from E Block, and dudes used to always be like, "Yo, no, how the fuck do you put up with them dudes in E Block, man? The police is racist ass." I said, "Not to me, they not. Them niggas give me all the respect in the world. They gave me the feed up job. They let me do what I want." So yeah, y'all probably had problems with them before, but it's a different time now. I got the reins over there. So they let me do what I do the way I want to do it. So we good over there. Everybody trying to get over there now, actually. But anyway, so when the 120 days came up and I put the request in to go to Honor Block, I had to change jobs because, put in a request to program change because I was the E1 porter. So as the E1 porter, you had to be locked on E1 in order to be the porter. You can't be an honor dorm and be the E1 porter. So when I put in the program change slip, the police, the old timers that the dudes didn't like that ran my gallery came to me, pressed me. I never forget. I think his name was Kelsey, an old white dude named Kelsey, if I'm not mistaken. He came to me like my government last name. Said, "Yo, I got the change of request program slip that you want to go to honor block, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, Kels, man, I'm chilling. I'm trying to wind down this bitch, so I'm just trying to get relaxed and comfortable, whatever." So I gave him my spiel. This old man wasn't no dummy. He's been in prisons, probably ready to retire, probably 20, 30 something years, been around all sorts of dudes, seen all sorts of game and heard all sorts of game. So he knew I was running game on him. And the look that he gave me and what he said to me let me know that he knew I was running game on him. He's like, "All right, whatever, Mr. Such and Such, I hear you, but I just want you to know that, honor block is definitely not going to be better than what you got going on over here. You got a good thing over here. We let you do you. We stay out your way. You know what I mean? As long as you don't fuck with us, we don't fuck with you. We let you and your people do what y'all want to do. It's not going to be like that if you go over the honor block. And honor block, you can tend to get into more trouble. Because basically what he was telling me last was that, he got wind of probably through the prison snitches, because they have nothing but snitches in prison, informants that run back to the police and give police information to try to ward off wars or robberies or whatever. You know what I mean? Dudes working for the CO the same way they work for the police in the street. So he was like, "Yo, all right, just don't get in trouble over there, because I know, it might be some things you feel you need to go down there and address." So when he said that, I already knew he knew what time it was. But I was like, "Yeah, but nah, I'm cool." But he respected it and said, "All right, I wish you luck," right? Man shit, I respected it. Even from the CO, man time, I'm going to respect it. I go down to honor block. Beautiful, right? And when I go down there that day, they are at lunch, right? They're in the mess hall. Eating lunch. It was the lunch period or whatever for them. They was in the mess hall eating lunch. And when I got down, there was a few dudes down there that didn't eat, that didn't go to mess hall. So when I got there, I said, "Yo," when there's a couple of dudes I knew from population, whatever. "Yo, where's such and such? The dude that work in the backup room, such and such. Where his cube at?" Because it was honor dorms. It wasn't cells. It was a big dorm, and it was set up like cubicles, single man cubicles. So everybody had a cubicle for themselves and shit. So the homies pointed out his cubicle to me. So I went over to his cubicle and took everything, robbed him to everything. Took the sheets off his motherfucking bag, even if they were state sheets. We robbed him, left his shit. Left his shit looking like a state SHU cell. When the SHU cells last, ain't nothing in there but a metal bed, a mattress, a sink, and a toilet bowl, right? In the cells. So, but in the dorm, when he came back from chow, all he had in his tube was, I think, the metal bed. We may have even took his mattress and threw his mattress someplace else. It wasn't nothing in that nigga tube but a metal bed and an empty locker. The paint, cosmetic, everything was gone. Everything in a bag in my cube. So when it came in the cube, when they was coming back in the dorms, and all the dudes seen me from population as they was coming to the dorm, everybody's eyes got wide. Everybody knew who I was. If he was a player in population of the cat, dudes knew who I was and how we was playing. So they was like, "Oh shit, this dude knowledge is down here. It's gonna be a problem," right? So the white boy come in. I told him as soon as he came, because I was standing right there waiting for everybody to come in to see who bandits or whatever. So I got the drop. So I'm waiting. As soon as he came in, I said, "Yo, homeboy, all your shit is in my cube, right? Right now I'm in such and such cube. All your shit is in my cube. Go get your knife. I ain't taking, you know what I mean? We wasn't looking for your weapons. If you got a knife or razor or whatever, go get your gun and meet me in the bathroom. You know what I mean? So we can get to this business. And hurry up." Because that's what I told him. Hurry up. I ain't got all day to be back here playing with you. I want to, as soon as you come in this bathroom, I'm giving you the business. So I'm in the bathroom waiting. This nigga like 3, 4, 5, 6. This nigga don't come. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is up? So I go out to the dorm and shit, and I looked from the bathroom. The way the police bubble was stationed, it was in the middle of the block, and his back was to the bathroom. So the police was sitting in the chair facing the entire dorm. His back was to me, so I'm standing behind him where he can't see me, pointing at the dude, the white boy, yo, and waving for him to come. Yo, come to the bathroom. What's taking you so long? What you doing? So now I got, the dudes coming in and shit, a couple Spanish dudes that I knew, they coming up to me in the bathroom like, yo, nah, he's not gonna come in this bathroom, bro. He don't want no problems. He was like, he don't care that y'all robbed him, take everything. He just don't want to get no problems. He don't want to get into no fights and get kicked out of the honor dorm. He's scared to go to population. So I was like, all right, that's cool, homie, but I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm not trying to hear none of that. He's going to get his justice because he was doing the most running last, but I gave him my opportunity to get right and get it back. Long story short, he wouldn't come into the bathroom, so I came out the bathroom and went to go holler at him in his cube. He ran outside his cube, like walking around the cube, the dorm was circle, so I couldn't get with him and shit on some real coward shit. So I'm like, yo, homie, you trying to pull a stunt in front of the police, run around all out here, I'm not going to chase you. So I went in my cube. I said, yo, eventually you're going to have to come holler at me in that bathroom. I won't talk about nothing else. There's nothing else to talk about. We going to do our talking in that bathroom. Other than that, you better be on point, because if I catch you in that cube, I'm giving you the business. So he listening and whatever, trying to talk. I'm on mute. I zoned him out. I don't hear nothing he trying to talk about. So I lay down in my cube. I think if I lay down, put my hand behind my head, relax, whatever, he'll feel like, all right, I'm not really stressing it. He'll probably calm down, go in his cube, and then I could blow the spot up, catch him. I'm not going to chase you around and all that. I want to catch you in a closed, confined area where you can't do no running and we get to shaking. So I hear a commotion. Boom, I jump up. And shit, I jump up in commotion. I see the white boy in his cube, and the little homie, the little guard and shit had hit him. I don't know, I just seen blood gushing from the white boy, and so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I just see the little homie, the little guard run to his cube and shit, and I see the dude leaking. Then he goes and runs into the little homie cube that cut him or stabbed him. And trying to start blitzing. All this is right in front of the police. The police don't see nothing though, because he engaged in reading the newspaper. Right? That was the crazy part. So I runs around into the cube. So when I run into the cube, the little homie on top of him, right? Got him on the bed. I grabbed he'll remember this. I grabbed the little homie by like one hand, because he was kind of short. I grabbed the little homie by like one hand and like lifted him off of the dude and like kind of threw him out the way, like, chill, I got it. Right? And he turning around in the air like, what the fuck? Like who the fuck got me? Like, ready to blitz. I'm like, nah, chill, I got it. And I body slammed that motherfucker all up in that cube. Got the blicky and went to work and walked right up out of there. Left him in there, broke the fuck up, walked right up out of there, walked back to my cube. The police still ain't make a move out of his paper. I don't know if that nigga was on drugs or what. Boy, get up out the cube and go into the bathroom. Bleeding, stuck like a pig, blood everywhere. Little Spanish dudes coming back from the dorm telling me in my cube, like, yo, nah, she's bleeding bad. He ain't gonna be able to patch it up. We trying to patch it up so the spot don't get blown, because if the spot get blown, they coming down here, they gonna wreck the spot, and restrict our privileges, whatever. So we try not to get the spot blown. I'm like, all right, well, y'all do what y'all do, but tell that nigga he better not come the fuck nowhere back over here, because if he do, he gonna get the rest of that work. So homie stayed in the bathroom, so I guess the police finally noticed too much traffic in and out of the bathroom and peeking, seeing what the fuck is going on. Everybody keep peeking, going to the bathroom, being nosy. He got up out of his little booth, went down the stairs, looked into the bathroom. I guess he saw all the blood in the bathroom, saw the dude bleeding all crazy. He pushed the button. So, he pulled the pin, the alarm. Ryan Squad came running in there, ran down on everybody, whatever, locked the spot down, took homie up out of there. So I was standing right there by the door, when he came out of the bathroom and shit, when they could know they had us, and obviously they had us all after they searched him. And you know, when he was walking by, I was mumbling to nigga like, yo, homie, hold that down, don't snitch, right? Don't be no rat. Like, you know what I mean? Next time you see me, you do you, but don't tell. So he was like, I ain't no snitch, as he was walking by, whatever. So that whole night, they took him out that whole night. We on lockdown. We in our cells. I'm in our cubes. The dudes talking to me and all that. But I see it, lads. That's my word. I see, like, if it's like 40, 50 dudes in that dorm, this is no exaggeration. I see like 30 motherfuckers writing in like what appears to be writing pads or whatever the fuck they do. So I'm saying to myself, I'm like, damn. But you know, that's what dudes do, right? Quiet time, you know what I mean? No TV and no dudes is locked and confined to their cubes. So I guess, you know, dudes probably writing letters to their girls or whatever. But it was so odd to me that it was so many people writing at the exact same time. That was too coincidental. But I didn't make the connection right away. But it was just odd to me, and I noticed it. Next morning, we get up, we go into chow and shit. We go to chow. We on our way back from chow. When we get on as we coming down the hallway from the chow hall going back to honor dorm, is mad police in the hallway standing in front of honor dorm. So I said, all right, I already knew what it was heading for. I said, oh, that's the squad. Either they gonna go in there and run down and tear shit up when we get in there, or they already know what they looking for and they waiting for us. So sure enough, soon as we get to the dorm, they stopped everybody, put everybody in the wall, and they was like, such and such, called me by my government name, 88B 1956, step out of the line. And then they called the little guard, such and such, 80, whatever, step out of the line. So they took us, you know what I mean, out of the line, put us in handcuffs while they had everybody on the wall, put us in handcuffs, and, you know, escorted us straight to the shoe. I went straight to the shoe. You know what I mean? The homies were there, they packed up my property, whatever. But I went straight to the shoe. Long story short, I ended up getting 2 years in the box for that incident. They said they had a confidential informant. They said they had over 35 slips that was dropped that night. You know what I mean? That they received in their little confidential snitch box, indicating that myself and the other little homie was the ones that assaulted and stabbed and cut the white boy and shit.
Them niggas wanted that brutality out that dorm.
Yeah, they was like,
honor block, nigga. Don't come in here.
Honor block, this nigga coming in stabbing shit.
Nigga coming in here on Attica time. Like, nah, nigga came in here on Attica time, the honor block.
That's right. I waited 120 days to get my shit off, so I couldn't wait to get down there and unleash the beast. But, okay, long story short, I ended up going to Southport. So, mind you, homie, now I'm back in Southport again. And this is why I said earlier that I don't like doing the same shit, repeating the same shit over again. So I said I was never going back to the box, right, after I got out. And here I am, not even a whole year later, back with a fresh doohickey, right? 2 years after doing a doohickey. So I should have, by all accounts, I should have felt like a first-class heel, a loser, an idiot, but I did, homie. And you know why? I didn't, because I did it for the homie, right? I rode for the homie because we on man time. You violate my man can't get with you. If I'm in your presence, I can get with you for him. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I did. But during that time of me being in the box the first time, I learned SHU law. And, you know, there's rules and regulations and guidelines that they have to follow before they just throw you in the hole with X amount of time. And you have a right to confront witnesses, adversary witnesses against you and all that shit, right? At your hearings before they find you guilty. They didn't allow me those rights, right? They didn't grant me that right to question the confidential informants. They said that it was for the safety and security of the confidential informants. They're not allowing me to question them because they don't want their identity revealed. Well, Albany said you couldn't do that, my nigga. That's like not allowing a person in a criminal trial to face the people that's accusing them and get a chance to cross-examine them and to question them and all that, right? You get those same rights in prison. I found that out. I learned that law, those rules and regulations and guidelines while I was in the hole. So, boom, that's a technicality. I got a reversal. You know what I mean? I did about 3-4 months in Southport. I got a reversal. They gave me a hearing. I called the dude that got stabbed hit up at the hearing. He testified at the hearing that he didn't see who assaulted him. So boom. He said he didn't see who assaulted him, but he don't think I did it because I just got down to the dorm and he didn't know me from nowhere. But he didn't say I didn't do it. That's what the hearing officer said. Those are the tricks that they use against you. So if you ever in a situation and you up north behind the wall and you get it on with somebody and all that, and y'all catch misbehavior reports behind that and end up going to the hole, make sure if it's on you, you say that the person didn't do it, and you make sure that the person that you going at it with says that you didn't do it. Because if they just say that they don't know who did it, the hearing officer is going to say, well, he said he doesn't know who did it. He doesn't say that you didn't do it. So that's the trickery that they use. So, but anyway, remember I told you that the CO, that whole incident, sat there in that booth reading that newspaper, off point, not paying attention to anything. And when he finally got on point and peeped dude bleeding in the bathroom. So when he wrote his report indicated that the assault took place in the bathroom. The informants who saw it and know where it took place at in the cube said that it took place in the cube. So the hearing officer in Southport says he gives more credibility to the correction officer who was out there in the open in public and seen everything. He said he would have saw an assault take place in the dorm right in front of him. He was sat there, he never left his post, so the assault had to have taken place behind him in the bathroom while his back was turned and he had no knowledge of it. So because of those inconsistencies and those little technicalities, I was able to beat the joint, right? And I got a reversal. They let me out of Southport. I thought I was going to go back to the cat. Instead, they sent me to a medium, right? They sent me to Collins. And those was different stories, bro. Those Collins stories was crazy. That's where we caught the new charge and chased the police. And it got real crazy. We'll never get to the Schenectady shit, homie.
We got to come back to them Collins stories,
Collins shit, right. But anyway, they sent me to Collins, right? But I got the Collins and shit, got the population sort. One of the homies from my building that I mentioned in my previous stories, an older head that I looked up to, Zaquan, Lenny, brother Zay, he was there. You know what I mean? He had the spot. And he was on side 1. Collins 1. They had Collins 1 and Collins 2, or referred to it by us as side 1 and side 2. Side 1 was the college side. Side 1 was the bigger dorm side, and side 1 was the better side. Like, you get way more privileges, right? It had to have been. As soon as I ain't never seen no shit like this last. As soon as I got off the bus, they took my property off the bus, put it on the ground, and said, "All right, grab your shit and go downstairs, find out what block you're going to, and then go grab your property and take it to the block." I was like, "What?" You know what I mean? And mind you, I got the joints in my. I got razors and knives in my property that I brought from that I had when I left the cat and went to Southport. They didn't find it in my property, and it came from Southport to College where I was at. So I was like, damn. They ain't even search my shit. When you go to a new spot, they go through everything. They dump your whole bags out and they go through everything in transit. Right? When you reach a new spot, they do that. They didn't do none of that in College. They was like, grab your yo, I went downstairs, saw a lady. She was like, yo, your name's you in such and such block, B1, B2, whatever, on that side. Go up there, go right, go through the doors right there. It's like, what? And my man then, I grabbed my person, yo, they didn't search me. He was like, no, they don't do that. I said, yo, son, I got mad joints. I'm talking to Zay. Yo, I got mad raised guns. I got my jewelry. I said, oh, it's lit. He's like, listen, homie, this spot, the little razors and all that shit you got, that you came over here with the maxes, that's not it, homie. We got street knives over here. They got everything over here but a pistol. So I was like, what? Yeah, last College was lit. We got to get back to College.
College
so anyway,
is a max?
College is a medium A. College is a medium. So they sent me from Kagsaki, which is a max B, and I got the reversal. Mind you, all this time, my time's still ticking, so I'm getting closer and closer to my my parole date. So, the closer you get, the shorter you get. If you chilling without incident reports, you go to a lower classified prison. Even though I went to the hole, when I got the reversals, the reversals is like it never happened. So my last incident report would have been from 1990, right, when I was in Comstock, when I caught the box out. Here it is now. We in 93, 3 years later, so it's like I'm incident free. All that count.
And
so
that's exactly why you could never sleep on a medium.
Nah, hell no.
Because
Niggas from the matches was a medium.
Yeah, it's mistakes like that be sending killers to those mediums. So a nigga be thinking, oh, you in a medium, nigga. Don't sleep, bro. It be some niggas it be ringers. It be some ringers in the medium.
That's a whole fact, homie. That's a whole fact. Super fact, right? So anyway, I was hyped. I said, oh, this shit is lit. I'm paying attention like I always do. I peep. I'm checking out the population, the dudes. I'm going to the mess hall. I'm moving around because there was free movement, man. Open movement. The whole jail was open. I could go from my block or my housing unit to any housing unit I wanted to on the block at any time until final count. The yard was open all day. You can go to the yard anytime you wanted. Not no set periods. Anytime you wanted, you could go to last. After being in cells and all that much freedom, that's what happened. It was too much. It was overwhelming. And that should have tricked you right out of your freedom and had you right back in the maxes. Because it's just, that was too, and it had trailers. What the fuck? They had trailers there, man. Come on, that was too much, bro. That was too much. The only thing we used to say that we didn't have in college was a car and a gun. It was women, because you could get trailer visits. And we had big festivals where niggas was fucking like crazy on the festivals. People was getting pregnant from it was lit. It was lit. We had everything in there, cash money and everything. We had everything in that prison of college except a car, like a whip, and an actual gun that shot bullets. Everything else we had. Everything damn near that you could think of, we had that motherfucker. And that shit had stoves and ovens and refrigerators in the housing units. We in the state, in the maxes, you cooking in a hot pot in your cell, right? Oh, you going to the chow hall to get that grub they give you, that slop. No. In college they got stoves, homie. Like you keep in your house, a stove, an oven. You open the oven door and bake cakes and all that. And then they got the stoves on the wood. Full burgers embedded into the it full refrigerators and shit. So niggas had their own refrigerators with locks on it. This is our refrigerator. Can't nobody else put their shit in it. This is the people's refrigerator. They showed me the homies' refrigerator. And all that shit when I got to college. I said, this shit is crazy. Long story short, next day or a day or two after, I'm coming out, I'm walking down the walkway going to the mess hall, probably going to the yard. Somebody just stopped me. They're like, hey, yo. And the little homie looking at me with astonishment on his face and was like, his mouth actually, how did you get here? What the fuck you doing here? And I look, so I'm looking at the show. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? And then I noticed, I said, oh shit, it's the little homie from Kagsaki. It's the little homie Hook Off. So I'm like, oh, yo, what the fuck, little bro, what you doing here? He's like, yo, they just transferred him there. But he's like, but what are you doing here? You had 2 years in the box in Southport for cutting that white boy in the gun. Why did you do that? And how did you get out the box? So that opened the door for us getting reconnected and building. Again, I told you I already took a liking to the little homie for the 4 reasons that I outlined in the beginning. So now he with me, right? And I stayed in college before we blew the spot up, and I caught the new charges and all that there before we turned that shit upside down. I stayed there from 93 to 95 until they sent me to Attica. You know what I mean? So just to fast forward it, I'm with the little homie Hook Off. I'm with the homie Zaquan, the older dude from my building. You know what I mean? That was the bro. You know what I mean? We got the spot. We got a bunch of younger dudes in here that we rocked with. that I fuck with, you know what I mean? It's lit. It's Buffalo dudes up there, Rochester dudes, because it's upstate New York. So they in the spot heavy, fuck with them, cool, solid dudes. So it's lit. We rocking. And a situation happened that I'll get back to. We blew the spot up, whatever. Again, had me in the hole, gave me 3 years in the hole. Again, I was able to, because of my knowledge of the law and the guidelines and prison procedures, I was able to get myself and everybody that was involved in the situations reversals. When we got the reversals, they started PKing dudes out the jail. They couldn't automatically PK me out the jail because I was already I was in college. You know, I was told you I was on my academic shit. So I was signed in college. And being signed in college, that was Madai Community College out of Buffalo, New York, upstate New York. So when you was in college at Madai in the prison, they put a hold on you. You couldn't get transferred out of the prison until you completed your college course, which was dope, right? So, but they circumvented that and all that. When I got out the hole, they put me back in general population. I was in general population for about 3 months to 4 months. Went to see my guidance counselor. My guidance counselor flipped the paper around and showed me, whispered, they got you on a PK draft going to Attica. And turned the paper back around and I was like, what? It's impossible. I'm in college. She looked at me and was like, pointing to the paper, this is what's happening. They don't give a fuck about college. They know what you did. Y'all violated those police. They know it was you, even though they couldn't prove it and you got the reversals. They not jacking that. They not letting you stay in this prison because you turned this prison upside down. Again, there I go, Laz, in those mediums and shit, on my Attica type shit, and I haven't even been to Attica yet, but I was giving them that Elmira pain, right? And they couldn't fuck with that Elmira pain. So they got me the fuck up out of there, sent me to Attica. I was staying in touch with the homie Hook. The whole time I told you in college, we was rocking together, playing ball together, and all that, and I caught the new charge over the little homie Hook. And we did what we did to the niggas and to the police over the little homie Hook, right? With that little riot situation. So, boom, I'm staying in contact with the little homie. Now we really rocking. You know what I mean? I go to Attica, but because I got a reversal, you know what I mean? I go to Attica, they couldn't really, my classification wasn't max A status. You know what I mean? It was, but then, you know, all appeals, they had to fix it because I got a reversal. So it's like those charges never happened, that incident report never happened. So they got to restore me back to where I was prior to me getting found guilty of that incident, right? So that means they had to restore me back to medium A status or medium B, whatever my status was. This is 9-5. I'm scheduled to go to the board at 9-5, right? But because of that incident report and because they kicked me out the medium, sent me to Attica, I go see the board in Attica, 9-5. They smacked me at the board with a year. Right? So I'm like, all right, cool. A year ain't shit. It's better than a deuce. You know, when they hit you with a deuce, that means there's no guarantee at your next board you going home. Generally back then, if they hit you with anything under 24 months, under a deuce at the parole board, that means at your next parole hearing, you have a really, really strong chance of being released off parole. So,
plus they can't go up. They usually they can't hit you at 18 and then come back and hit you at 24.
That's correct. So once they go down, they can stay down. And everybody's dream is to be under that 24, lads. You know that. Because they can hit you with 20, they can hit you with 24 months, 24 times if they want to at the parole board. Right? That's crazy. But anyway, I get the decision back. I said, I go back to the board next year, 9-6. All right, cool. I know I got a year. A year is nothing in prison. It flies by quickly. So I said, I'm going to stay low, stay out of shit, which is hard to do, man, when you're a dude from Brooklyn and you're a well-known dude. And, you know what I mean? You got dudes that look to you for shit. So, you know, prison politics and shit, when you're a known dude, is interesting, right? And it's crazy. And you find yourself in situations that don't really have nothing to do with you a lot of times, that you don't even want to be involved in, and that you're caught up in just because, you know what I mean, it involves some of your peoples or whatever. And you ride for your people, you dig? So anyway, I chilled in Attica for about 6 months. They sent me from Attica to Cayuga. Cayuga was my second medium, right? So when I get to Cayuga, You know, I get the population, general population. They put me in the block. You know what I mean? I'm ascertaining, checking things out, figuring who's who, figure out how, you know what I mean, how I need to move and if I need to mash out on anything or whatever. You know what I mean? Cayuga's cool. I don't have no bandits in there. Whatever. It was one or two dudes in there that, you know what I mean? I cut a Spanish dude in Caxsaki too before I chilled and went down to the home. I mean to Honor Block and blew up the spot there. I had to touch something in population because, you know what I mean, nigga was out of pocket violated and his peoples was there. So, you know, when I got to Cayuga, saw them in a mess hall, I pressed them like, yo, come to the yard, you know what I mean, went out with my gun and all that, and you know what I mean, a couple of the guards that I met there was like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean, your man, what's up? You riding for your man, what y'all want to do? Dudes like, yo, they ain't got nothing to do with that, they ain't want no problems. You know what I mean? You know, that was cool. They wasn't getting involved with it. Cool. Because look at that. That's right. That's crazy. That's another thing that I didn't talk about, right? You could be chilling. You could have your mindset on chilling. You got through a lot of situations as years later. You on some chill shit trying to go home to make your ball, but, you know, old beefs can still haunt you, homie. You could come across something that you got with at another spot and, you know, homie don't give a fuck about you chilling and turning over a new leaf and trying to, you know what I mean? Nah, he wants some action, especially if you got out, right? On him. That's the thing about running in the bandit smaller. You could be at your most chillest state, right out the door. Bandit come through, you gotta go to work and or risk not making it out of there alive. You know what I mean? So you know, you put everything up when you do in those type of situations. Your freedom, everything you gotta say, you know, fuck it. Or you can just say not fucking and take the cow around and don't come out, right? But now we don't do that. We ride in all situations against whoever, right? At any time. So I get the Cayuga, I step to the dudes, they don't want no problems, anything cool. I'm in a dorm. So now I'm in a dorm and I keep hearing dudes refer to this dude by the name Killer. And so I'm looking at the little homie and I'm like, damn, this dude, there was a familiarity, but I just couldn't put my hand on it. I couldn't put my finger on it. But this same Killer is the co-defendant of Hook Off, my little homie that I just left, that I just rode for, that I was just fucking with for the past few years, and the little brother of my crimey that I caught my situation with back in 1990, J-Rock, the homie. So, but in his swag and his mannerisms was that of a Brooklyn dude. Like, you know, no shade or nothing to no other boroughs, homie, but a Brooklyn nigga could spot another Brooklyn nigga a mile away. Lance, you know that, right? Because we move a certain way and we walk and we talk a certain way and we exude a certain confidence and shit about us and a certain swag that most Brooklyn dudes that's about the life, they give that off. So I'm peeping all of this from the little homie. I'm like, damn, this little dude got to be somebody because I'm getting too much energy and vibe from him. So I pressed him. Like, yo, sure, yo, you know, homie, where you from? He's like, yo, I'm from Fort Greene. So I'm like, yo, you got a co-defendant named Hook Off and you got a brother named J-Rock. He's like, yeah, yo, who you? Because I was in the dorm with him for about a week or two, watching him and observing him before I pressed him. Right? So he's like, damn, you been here for a minute. Like, you, who, you know what I mean? You ain't saying nothing like, who you, homie? So I'm saying, yo, my name's Dollar, you know what I mean? Black Knowledge, Sumner. And he automatically ordered off the top, oh shit, yo, my bro, yo, and Hook Off, yo. All right, so we bonded right there immediately. Family, that's the homie. Also, you know, I was coming from the Cat via Southport, via Collins, back to Attica, you know what I mean? All that time I was still into the music. The 7 Up, you know, even though we was broken up, we were still individually repping the 7, rapping in other facilities and spots that we was in. When I get back to that college story, I'll tell you about the rap shows and the concerts we put on in college. The same thing in Cayuga, you know what I mean? Dudes just rapping and, you know what I mean? We rapping and doing all that. So Killer was, you know, into the rap scene and shit. And, you know, he used to spit his little shit to me and all that, and I liked it. He had a nice little flow, some bars and all that. So we kind of like, I told him, I said, yo, your brother and I, back in 1990, we started a little rap group while we was in the shoe called the Scales of Justice, and we, you know what I mean, got together to battle this ass nigga that sounded like Kool Moe Dee, back in the days, freaking actor, Mr. Who Do You Think I Am? So, you know, he laughing. I'm telling him war stories and shit, telling him about his brother, you know what I mean? Because he was never with his brother. So I'm giving him some game and some stories about his brother and all that, and we vibing. Boom, we connect, we click up, everything is love. Next 9-6, this is on 9-5, 9-6 roll around, because I'm speeding it up. 9-6 roll around. I go back to the parole board. I get granted parole. I make the parole board. I get released in September of 1996. I move to upstate Monticello because my case told you I had the police beef from back in Brooklyn, so I didn't necessarily want to go right back to Brooklyn in the belly of the beast after all them years, and because I know, the police were still working there, whatever, might have been elevated into higher positions and all that. So I had to peep the lay of the land before I immersed myself back into it. And I told you, I kind of really came back to Brooklyn in 9-7 and all that. And, when I came down to see Tata and Tracy Morgan and all that, and then I ended up connecting with the homies, and I ended up staying, in Brooklyn in 9-7, right? But that's a little ahead of the story. So back it up to Killer. We formed our own little rap group in Cayuga, and I think it was called the Brotherhood of the Rose, right? I think I was White Rose, the Mentalist. Killer was Black Rose. Had a little brother, I think he was from out of Brevoort Project, named Vaughn. Badass, we called him Badass. The guards called him Badass. He had nonsense out, but he was just a rebel, one of them little young rebel guards, always wanting to cut and rob and be into all sorts of foolishness. So his name was Vaughn. I gave him the name Baby Badass because his name was Baby Vaughn, and that was his rap name. I called him Baby Badass because he was a badass little fucking kid to me, always doing badass kid shit. So I renamed him Baby Badass, and he was super nice on the mic. He was rapping over in Green. He was in Cagsack. He said he was in Green, and then from Green, I guess he got kicked out of Green and sent to Cayuga. So he was nice, and he knew about the 7-Up. He knew On and all of them, and he knew about their rap skills or whatever. So that's how Baby Badass, On, and I connected, and us three formed the rap group and shit, the Brotherhood of the Rose. And we was rapping in Cayuga, snatching mics and giving dudes the business. 9-6, I go back to the board. I go home. While I'm home in the streets, I'm staying in contact with the comrades, the homies that's still in prison, the J-Rocks and all the dudes and all the homies that I left behind, and the ones that I most recently left, which would have been Killer and Hook Off. You know what I mean? I'm staying in constant contact and in touch with them. So like around 9-7, when I moved back to Brooklyn, I think Killer comes home. Killer comes home somewhere around 9-7 or 9-8, something like that. And Killer was a dude that, he politicked with a lot of different dudes from a lot of different areas and shit. Killer is like a people person. He knows how to socialize and blend in with a lot of cats where other people wouldn't be able to do that. Killer was well liked and respected and enjoyed amongst a lot of different groups of people and shit. And I don't even know how it happened, but he came home and he reached out to me. He got in contact with me, and he was like, "Yo, homie, I'm out here. I'm out here chasing the bag, get to the bag. I'm out here in Schenectady, right? So I know you probably in the projects doing your thing, whatever. You want to get some money, you know what I mean? You're more than welcome to come out here to Schenectady with me." Right, cool. I'm like, all right, cool. I heard that. I appreciate the offer. I told him I'll think about it. And, if I was going to get with him, I'd get with him. Around that same similar time, when I moved back to Brooklyn, back to Sumner Projects, Hook came home. Went to Fort Greene to see him, whatever. And, I started bringing him down to my projects and shit and introducing him to the homies. I introduced him to my brother. That was one of the first people I introduced Hook Off to, was my brother. And I told Hook Off, yo, this is Poison. This is the dude that you reminded me of when I first started fucking with you. And this is the reason why I started fucking with you, because you reminded me of this person right here. This is my little brother. And my brother, Poison, Hook, they met, they connected because of their similarities or whatever. Plus Hook had heard all of the war stories about my brother when I was in prison. I used to tell him, and my brother heard all the war stories about Hook, but I used to tell him when I called him and wrote him and shit. So they had a familiarity, they connected, it was cool. There was a girl that lived in my building in Sumner that I guess worked somewhere in Manhattan, a little younger broad, about little homie Hook's age and shit. And I guess she worked in a building where he was working at. When he came home, he got a little gig, Manhattan, whatever. And he was working up there, and he would see her going in and out the building. He was like, yo, man, he seen her one day. He was coming to my crib, and he seen her going in the building, and he seen me and her talking. And he was like, yo, homie, that's the girl that work in my job. Yo, that girl is bad. I've been trying to get with her. Yo, you think you could plug me in? I'm like, yeah, that's the people. She right upstairs. I'll plug you in. I put a good word in for you. So the next time I saw the girl, I put the good word in for her, and she's like, oh yeah, I know who he is. He works at my job. He always stares at me, but he never says anything. Right there, Jewel, fellas. Don't just stare at the women. If you want them, and you think they're attractive, go after them. Let them know, because they might be checking you out the same way you checking them out. Closed mouth don't get fed, guys. Closed mouth can't give out information, right? Open your mouth, pause, with respect to women, and let them know, you know what I mean, you interested, right? That's the little sideways segue right there. But so boom, I made the connection, plugged them to. I said, well, he interested, whatever, and go his number, whatever. You know what I mean? And he, you know what I mean? He didn't want to try to get your number, so he asked me to give you his, whatever. You interested? Holler. She hollered. She reached out. Them two connected. Months later, this nigga Hook moving into my building. This little nigga is moving into my building. You know what I mean? Suitcases and everything. Upstairs with the girl. Girl mom was cool with it, whatever, let her move in. She was one of those mothers, she would rather have her daughters in the house under her watch, and you know what I mean? So if they gonna have boyfriends here, bring your boyfriends here, whatever, it's cool. Hook was so ingratiating, I guess, that he was able to, you know what I mean, bond with the moms and all that, and the other people in the house, and they welcomed him. And he moved in. like Baby Boy, right? What was the situation of Baby Boy, the light-skinned dude that was the gunner? You know what I mean? The girls, he said, you bought me these video games and all these new clothes and said I could live here. That wild light-skinned nigga, that was the hitter for and Baby Boy. Yeah, that's how Hook was, right? He moved up. and everything. That was surprising to me, because I knew that lady all my life. That lady was like my mom's age, when I was like one of my mother friends from the building, and that lady did not play. She was mean as fuck. They was West Indian. She was mean as fuck. She didn't allow people in her crib, none of that. So for her, all these years later, to allow one of her next to youngest daughter, a dude, to move in the crib was phenomenal to me. I gave Hook all the praise and accolades and the flowers in the world, because I said, yo, you the man. Nobody's ever been able to do that. She got like 4 older sisters. That never happened. So you the man for making that happen. So, you know, so now we rocking, we in the hood together, we running around, we doing shit, right? And, you know, figuring shit out, getting the shit. And this was right before the Tompkins shit happened with the little Tompkins homies in 9/8. I told you we're gonna get to that probably next. Anyway, I take Killer up on his offer just to see what it's hitting for, and I go out to Schenectady. So I go out to the Schenectady. You know what I mean? I had a little situation with me. I took the situation with me out there to Schenectady. You know what I mean? The homie Killer was out there. He was out there with, I guess, a couple other dudes from out of Fort Greene, dude. Rest in peace, named Kumar. You know what I mean? That was the homie. I met Kumar. Kumar was a solid dude, cool dude. I liked him. I fucked with him, whatever. I met him on the strength of Killer. He was cool people. Girl, wifey at the time, Dawn. I used to refer to her as Don. You know what I mean? Shout out to the homie Don. If you're still up there in Schenectady, anywhere in Schenectady, in the regions or whatever, you hear this, you already know what it was. You know who it is, right? And you know how we rock. But anyway, Killer invited me up there. I brought my situation up there, and he you know what I mean, he had a couple of situations lined up. He took my situation, put it with a situation, and rocked out. I was like, oh wow. I mean, crazy money in a day's period. So now this is so one of the things I got to backtrack on real quick is that in from 9-3 to 9-5, when I was in college correctional facility, I was messing with a lot of different dudes, and a lot of dudes was from upstate New York, particularly Rochester, Syracuse, and Albany and Buffalo. But it was this one particular dude. His name was G, and he was out of Schenectady. I never heard of Schenectady in my life till I heard of the dude G. You know what I mean? He told me he was from Schenectady. And G used to play basketball with us. Shout out to all the dudes on the basketball tournaments and teams that we played in, that we gave y'all niggas the business. We won the state championship all the 2 years straight that I was there. Went up against Hook and his team. They was crying, they was mad, almost started fights. This shit lads cracked them niggas' asses. They was tight about that because Hook had his own team, because he wanted to go up against me because I was like the big bro, and he couldn't be on the same team as me because Hook was a little chuck wagon, and I'm a team player. You can't be a chuck wagon and a one-man fucking Iverson on a team of 5 players, like 10, 8, 9, homie, that we don't do that. We're not giving you the ball for you to score 70, and your backup dancers. That's not how it's going down. So Hook wasn't jacking that. He went and started his own team, and his team used to rival with my team, and we would crack the niggas every time in the championship. And Hook be ready to fight, cut niggas off, goofy shit. But anyway, the dude G was from Schenectady. He used to always tell me, yo, Nas, man, when you get out, you should come up, reach out to me, come up to Schenectady. It's mad money in Schenectady. Some dudes be sleeping on it like it's a one-horse town or whatever, but it's mad bread. So that was the first time Schenectady was ever implanted in my head. I heard it. I'm like, all right, I never heard of it, son, but all right, I might pull up. I get to the town. Killer reach out. He got a situation going on. He got it good. It's up in Schenectady. I'm like, oh, Schenectady, that's the town that the homie G was from. Maybe if I go up there, I might run into him. So I go up there with my situation, get the situation off that same night. Now I'm amped. I'm like, oh, this shit way faster than trying to get money in the hoods of Brooklyn. You know, niggas selling 2 for 5s and 3 for 5s in Brooklyn. That Penny Annie shit, niggas come to you with change and shit, $11 in quarters, and nickels and pennies and dimes, right? It wasn't none of that. It's connected. It was straight out of town bag money. So I'm like, all right, yo, homie, I think I like this out here. I think I can fuck with it out here. What's good? You got room for me in the situation you got going on, or do I need to come out here and open up my own situation, start my own situation? So the homie Killer, real dude or whatever, he's like, yo, this is what I'm doing, but I'm fucking with these dudes, Cooley and all them dudes over here. So like, if anything, homie, I'll get back with you. Let me poly with my peoples and see what we could do. So long story short, I go back to New York. So I'm waiting for the homie to get back with me. He get back with me basically like, yeah, homie, you can get with us, but it's really not a lot of room because, you would have to come with your own or whatever. But basically, Killer was like, yo, listen, it'd be probably better for you to start your own situation. Come up here, be able to stay up here for about 3, 4, 5 days a week, whatever. I'm gonna show you around. I'm gonna put you on how it go out here, and then I'm gonna plug you in with a couple people, and then I know you smart. You gonna do your own thing and be able to figure out your situation. So that's exactly what happened. I went up there. Killer and I, we staying in all these different hotel rooms. Shout out to the homie Killer, man. I know you probably gonna listen to this story and be reminiscing like a motherfucker. On them days, them nights, we running around all up and down them streets in Schenectady, in them hotels and all that wild shit we was up there doing. Yeah, but shout out to the homie Killer. But so Killer helped me establish my situation, right? So now I got the situation. So being the person that I am, I bring Hook in because, that's my little man. Plus, he living in my building now. I have a deeper and a longer understanding and rapport with him because I've been around him X amount of years in prison. So I already knew how he moved. So, yeah, I'm getting money. You more than welcome to come along with me because somebody opened the door for me, right? That's how it's going to go, man. Somebody open the door for you. You get situated, do your thing. You open the door for somebody else. So, that's what I did. I brought Hook with me. We had a little team, little players from my projects, right? Hook is with me. Hook is in the projects, meeting everybody in the projects. He's starting to rock with everybody in the projects. And, run around being his normal wild self. and the homies from my projects is feeling them. They like the style. They fucking with him. They jacking him. So he a part of the team now. It's like he a part of Sumner now because he was accepted by the Sumner dudes who were relevant at the time. And we out there got the little homies, you know, we got a little system, got the little homies that's, you know what I mean, working, pushing the product or whatever, got the little homies that's, you know what I mean, getting it where it need to go and all. We got the whole situation working out right? In Schenectady, so a lot of times, lads, in a lot of places, not just upstate New York, which I'm about to reference, but in a lot of places, right? New York City dudes are really welcome with open arms because New York City niggas is New York City niggas, homie. You know how New York City do. But we think and move faster. You know what I mean? We hustlers and go-getters. So when we go to places, we're gonna tend to take over because that's what we used to do. And we're more, I think, in some instances, faster on the draw and you know what I mean, with respect to business things and moves. Maybe not so much now, but back then it was, right? Because New York was the stopping point for a lot of shit. So when shit came in, it came into New York City first. We got it first and then it dispersed wherever it went. So New York dudes got the ball and was dribbling the balls all over different states. You know what I mean? With their handles and getting their hoop game on, right? So basically that's how it was going down. And the way New York was laying it down, they received a lot of disfavor from other places. And you know, we had a little team. I had a little lieutenant, little female chick from out of Marcy. I mean, she was my little lieutenant. She kind of like, you know, got things where they needed to get to it and got it to the peoples that was out there moving around rocking, right? And the peoples that was out there moving around rocking with the little homies from the projects, the little younger homies and shit. Shout out to little homie Fresh, you know, Fresh, his name ain't Fresh no more, but you know, that his name was Fresh when he was fucking with me and we was out of town to connect. Little homie Fresh and little homie Meat, you know what I mean, from 303 and all that. And you know, a bunch of little different homies that I would always take with me and give them an opportunity to make some bread. I wasn't selfish. I was sharing in the wealth and the opportunity. Dudes wanted to eat. They wanted to hustle. They had hustling them. They wasn't afraid and they wasn't playing around just trying to come out there for sneaker money for a day and get about it. If they wanted to get to $1 and they was willing to put the work in, I would give them the opportunity to shop. So I had a bunch of little homies from the projects that was on rotation, looking and waiting for the opportunity to come out there to connect and get money. Dudes out there I refer to, dudes in other states and cities and towns not really being too keen on New Yorkers. Same situation up there in Schenectady. A lot of little things going on. Dudes up there getting robbed, dudes up there getting laid down. You know, regular shit that you find in hoods all across America, right? It existed in Schenectady, you know, and you know, they had teams out there. I guess dudes that was going out doing these, you know, robberies and sticking up people's spots and robbing people and, you know, laying shit down, doing the wild shit that wild dudes do when they on their own stomping ground. So these dudes, they had one of the little crews was referred to as the cleaners. They called themselves the cleaners. And then that was one set of dudes that, you know, they mimicked their styles and their way of dress after Capone and Noriega. When they had that album, I believe it was called The War Report, and they was dressed up in all these army fatigues and bandanas and all that different type of attire. That's what the dudes in Schenectady who referred to themselves as the cleaners attire was like. They always was in army fatigues and army style boots and bandanas and all this wild shit. They always used like military terms like, oh, we going on missions and dumping sprees and all this jargon that they used up there, you know what I mean, between themselves or whatever. You know, I would hear them, I would see them. I'm in the bars, you know what I mean, where it's jumping in the restaurants and all that, and out in the town, so I see them. They out there, I see them, they see me. But, you know, I ain't never had no problem with them. Y'all doing y'all, go ahead, do what y'all do. But, you know, my thing in my mind is always, all right, just don't bring that shit over here. As long as you don't bring that shit over here, you ain't gonna never have to really find out who I am or, you know, get any problems out of me, right? I'm doing me, y'all doing y'all. Stay away from me, I'm gonna stay away from y'all. That's the way it was. the younger generation, right? The little homies, you know, the little homies do things the way the little homies want to do things, even when they under tutelage and guidance, man. Some dudes aren't, you know what I mean, receptive to guidance and tutelage. So some dudes like to learn the hard way and like to learn, you know, things on their own. So, you know, I had a system with my team of dudes like, oh, listen, this is us. You know what I mean? This is our circle. It's all about us. We, you know what I mean? Nobody else. This is us. Don't be, you know what I mean, fraternizing and getting yourself too familiar with these people, especially these local people, because you don't know these dudes out here, and they got teams of dudes, robbing dudes, laying dudes down. So safety and security first. Fuck with who you know, right? No new friends, because you don't know these people. You don't know these niggas out here, so don't get comfortable and get familiar, or you'll find yourself getting left out here, right? So I'm always still on military, you know what I mean, man time, no matter what I do. And that transitioned over to the hustling game too. You know, we on man time and we on business, right? So, you know, and we on point, right? We ain't no victims, so we on point. So again, little dudes do what little dudes do. They hard-headed. Shout out to all you hard-headed little dudes out there that like to do things your way, the hard way, the highway. Shout out to you dudes, man. May you find an easier way to do things and blessings along the way. But same hell for my little hard-headed dudes in the hood. I kept telling them dudes, mindful of the company you keep, mindful of people you have around you, mindful of the things you let those people around you see. Those little hard-headed dudes will have local dudes and girls up in the spots that we had under the guys up there chilling with them, smoking weed or whatever, but not knowing these little motherfuckers is pocket watching. They watching how much bread is coming through them doors because they from up there. They watching how much bread you got in your pocket, and they watching your drip, your shine. They watching. And these dudes were so oblivious. One dude in particular, a little dude fresh with his hard fucking head, didn't listen, so he had to learn the hard way. Kept trusting them little dudes, letting them little dudes in the spots and shit. I would come in the spots, see all these strangers, kick everybody out, yell at him for keep doing that dumb shit. He didn't listen. I warned him, right? Every time I warn somebody and they don't listen, a lot of times the consequences be dire. Sure enough, get the call. I'm at a chick crib and shit. Damn, I can't remember the chick's name and shit. It'll come to me. But anyway, I'm at her crib and shit. I mean, I used to, you know, be chilling at her crib, chill with her, fuck with her a little bit, whatever. I'm at her crib. I get the call from the homies in the spot. Yo, dude just came up in here, violated. You know what I mean? I go over there, shoot over there to the spot. I'm like, yo, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, yo, some dudes robbed us, whatever, took all the work, took all the money, beat, right? Karma. Beat the little homie fresh all upside his head with the ickle. You know what I mean? Do hickey this shit up, split this shit up, robbed before his jury. The hard-headed little nigga took everything in his pocket and disrespected him. Talked greasy to him. Told the lieutenant chick, that was my lieutenant, my little female, yeah, you know, you got some big knockers on you and all that. I should violate your knockers and all. You know, these are some disrespectful little robbers out there, shit, right? I respect the robbery game to a degree because I came up as a robber, so I respect it. But don't add insult to injury and, you know, make challenges and threats and shit because, you know, you might get what you're looking for, you know what I mean, and a little extra. So they robbed the joint, robbed my workers, talked greasy to them and all that, and then left them with parting shots. Like, yeah, whoever your bosses is, tell your bosses they dumb as fuck for having y'all little niggas up here in these spots and all that without no hammer and all that. And if they want to get with us, you know, SOS, straight out of Schenectady. Niggas know who we be, they know who we are. Tell them it's SOS, straight out of Schenectady, get with us. Okay, right. That makes it that much easier, you dummies. I don't have to do the recon to find out who you are because you just told me who you are, right? And who y'all were, and that y'all with the action. Oh, call outs, right? I always tell you, last call outs is mandatory. Let's get it. I get with the homie killer because, you know, I'm doing my own thing. I'm on one side, he on the other. I call him, get with him. You know what I mean? I pull up, meet him at the homie Kumar crib. We talk, and I tell him what happened. Yo, niggas robbed the gate, whatever. I would have respected the robbery, but they talked greasy to my peoples, pistol whipped my little man, took his shot, told my lieutenant they wanted to squeeze up on her knockers and all sorts of goofy shit, and sent the direct message like, if whoever want to get back at him, holler at them SOS. So Kumar was familiar with the town and all that. He'd been out there, told me who them dudes was, how they played, how they gave it up, whatever they was dudes to be reckoned with. They wasn't no joke. They was out there doing their thing. Cool. I love a challenge. I don't want no easy wreck that I'm gonna just run over. I want niggas that's gonna be trying to put the pain in, right? To make it interesting. Cool. Mind you, this time I'm up there by myself. Mind you, I'm up there by myself with the little homies, right? Just regulating it that way, without the muscle. The muscle was the little homie Hook, because Hook showed that he liked to play with the hammers and get crazy. So Hook was the muscle. Called him, homie, get on the train. You know what to do. Bring that. Come out here. We gonna teach these niggas a lesson, right? Sumner style. So that's what. Shout outs to the homie Hook, right? Although the ups and downs and the headaches and all that, all the bullshit, that's my little bro. I got mad love for the little bro. I got mad love for the little homie. The little homie's a solid stand-up dude. I called him, told him what it was. The little homie jumped on the goddamn train, the railroad that brought him straight to Schenectady. Called me, picked him up from the train station, and threw him in the whip with us. Myself, Killer, think he had a homie out there named Guard and all that. Threw the little homie Hook in the whip, and we went to the hotel. He got I'll never forget this shit. That little homie Hook got a chrome attache case, like a suitcase. You know them shits that them spies be having, and the spy moves, the James Bond movie, when he be having a chrome suitcase or attache case or briefcase, whatever you call it, and he open that shit and it's mad gadgetry and shit inside of there. This little homie Hook came up there with the same exact kind of chrome suitcase. First of all, the suitcase didn't match your attire. Then you dressed in hood shit. Those attache cases are usually with men with suits on. So the look was crazy, first of all. Imagine that, right? We in a hotel room, he opens the joint. In this attache case, Laz, is dread wigs, disguised noses, handcuffs, stun guns, duct tape, rope, and dresses of other, wigs, various different disguises, and 2 hammers with 4 clips. So I was like, yo, nigga, you came up here on a train with all of this? And you wasn't worried about getting pinched, nothing. You just came up here with all this. He said, yo, you said it's storm, so I brought everything I figured we was gonna need. And there was 2 vessels in there. I said, yeah, I love this slow nigga, off the chain. Let's get busy, right? Let's party. So, we dispersed the little shit. I took the gun, 2 clips. Hook took a gun, 2 clips. Killer already had a gun because Killer was already out there. Killer already had his hammer. Maybe the only one that didn't have a hammer was Guard or whatever. And so let me backtrack a little bit. When I went to meet the homie Killer at Kumar crib and told him that dudes had robbed my spot and said what they said and disrespected in the manner they disrespected, and when Kumar was saying that them dudes were not dudes to be reckoned with, the SOS dudes, they get busy, they put work on, and whatever, they be down and shit, whatever. Kumar didn't know me. Kumar didn't know me from a hole in the wall. Kumar just knew that I was Killer Man, right? I could have been anybody. I could have been the average Joe Schmo. I could have been a lame, a bird, whatever. He didn't know nothing about me, right? So when he gave all of this information to me, he gave me the energy like, he's steering clear of it because, those dudes get busy and he don't know nothing about me. I could be pussy for all he knew, but he just gave me that information. I felt that. I felt that vibe. I felt that energy because I pay attention to everything from all the stories. I peeped it. I laughed at that, right? Because in my mind, I knew what I was going to do, right? Because I know who I am and I know where I came from and I know what I'm capable of, right? From the streets to prison to back on the streets. I know I'm well adept at giving out the business. So I'm gonna give out the business, and I'm gonna give out the business so well that every nigga out here gonna know about me, right? They know who Black Knowledge is in Brooklyn, but they don't know who he is in Schenectady. So I'm about to show them who he is in Schenectady and wake all these niggas up. Kumar didn't know who I was. He, you know, so, and outside of prison, Killer never hung with me in the street. So Killer knew I got busy, but he, from what he heard, but he never seen it. So he never knew to what lengths that I get busy. But I was finna show him and everybody else, right, how we really play. So now, you know, we doing the recon and the intel. You know, before Hook cover, I told you, I found out who the dudes were. You know what I mean? Where they usually be at. They had spots out there, where they spots were, and all of that. And I got all that intel. Waited. Hook came up there with the attaché. We anteed up. Now let's get to it, right? So we started on our missions. You know what I mean? Me, Hook off, Killer. And actually, Killer wasn't even in at this point. It was just me and Hook. And I got the addresses. So now, line by line, I'm addressing everything. I got a list, lads, from 1 through whatever the fuck it was, with from the top to the bottom, in order of who I wanted to get and what I was going to do them when I got them, right? I had this list. And in that list, the intel about these dudes' whereabouts, who they be with, their locations, who they, whatever. So starting from 1, we went and down with the spots was, where the dudes was, knocked on the door. You know, most back then people used other people's homes to conduct their businesses. So when you knock on the door, whoever the homeowners are usually answers the door. And we, you know, was kind of familiar with that homeowner, because when those people weren't there, them homeowners would contact my peoples for business, right? So it was a little rapport there. They saw us, let us right in. Mind you, lad, this is what I be talking about goofy niggas, right? This is what I mean. I'm about to tell you about goofy niggas that don't be on point and that think everything is a game and everything is sweet, right? These dudes, right, running around robbing people and doing what they doing to people and whatever, I guess they felt like they was above it, or they was exempt from retribution because they was in Schenectady. They from Schenectady, right? Cool, I get it. But wouldn't you at least want to be on point a little bit, just in case that wasn't the case, and just in case you did run across some worthy adversaries? What do you think? Nobody's worthy, right? That's the goofiness in people, right? And for all the people that's listening to Jewel and all that is, don't underestimate nobody, right? Because anybody can get it. Don't never underestimate nobody, and treat everybody as a potential threat and move accordingly, right? We go in the spot, niggas is laid out on the couch snoring and shit, laid out on extended chairs, sleeping and shit, in the bedrooms with bitches knocked out. We went in there, waking niggas up with the 9mm chrome across the forehead. Facts. Niggas was snoring. Get your bitch ass up. Smacking holy magnetic MCs out of niggas' foreheads and faces with them hammers. Smacking niggas awake and rallying niggas up into to a corner. Kick the bedroom door open. the chick in the bedroom was in the bed with one of the dudes that was a part of the crib. The dudes that we was robbing, the SOS dudes, straight out of Schenectady and all that other shit them niggas was hollering. This nigga Hook is crazy. So when we kicked the door in and got all them other niggas, I got the dudes back down. So when they kicked the door in and Hook goes in and he sees the broad just happens to be a broad that was fucking with one of the dudes that was on our team. So you fucking with one of the dudes that's on our team, but here it is, you fucking one of these niggas that's the op and the enemy. So some of that information and intel might have came from you. That's Hook's mentality. So Hook cocks the bitch. he cocks the bitch. She goes flying into the closet. And then he yanks the dude out of the bed and pistol whips flames out this nigga forehead. This nigga gushing like a motherfucker. And so now we got all them dudes on the floor in the liquor. and we robbing them, going in their pockets and shit, smacking them upside their head with the joints, kicking them in the ass, throwing them dirty, talking real greasy talk. Because y'all want to talk greasy and talk about, what y'all do and all that. All right, we gonna show you we can do the same thing y'all can do. We gonna do it better, and we gonna do it much worse. So we violate these niggas, tying them up, doing all sorts of goofy shit, and we extracting information from all captured fucking suckers, right? So all the suckers we captured, when we doing them dirty, we getting the information and the intel out of them on where we can find who we need to find, because I got that list and I'm going down the list or up the list, whichever way it went, and each person that we get, I'm using them to get me closer to the next person on that list. So that's exactly how it went down. So when we left that spot, after pistol whipping them dudes, we went up to another spot where there was some chicks in there. Again, they call themselves the murder mommies, right? Shout out to the little murder mommies. They were some, little get busy, wild chicks up there that was affiliated with the cleaners and the SOS dudes, because I guess they were originally from Schenectady. They was a part of the robberies, setting dudes up, giving dudes ass, getting them in hotels for them little dudes, for they little peoples to rob them, all that, whatever. They was upstairs in the spot. We kicked that spot and did the same thing to the dudes that was in there, violated them, and the same thing to the little broads, robbed them, whatever. Again, Hook was a little more aggressive. There was a couple of little chicks in there that was a little mouthy and whatever, and I had to stop Hook from really doing him 30, because we was on the third floor, and this on the third level in this house, and Hook was wanting to throw the bitch out the window. He said, I'm gonna throw this bitch out the window, son, and she gonna topple, she gonna land on them parked cars out there. I'm like, you're not throwing no girl through the window, homie, right? We're not doing that. She talking her shit, let her talk her shit, just tell her to, whatever guys she got, send them my way, but we not doing nothing to the girls. You can talk greasy to them or whatever, but we not doing all that. You already cold cocked one broad, and you know what I mean? Chill on the violating the women. So, all right, cool. So, but Shorty was talking smack, and he told her he was gonna throw her out the window.
What type of shit she was saying?
Like, fuck you, nigga. You ain't robbing me, and I don't give a fuck. I didn't take nothing from none of your people. You're not taking nothing from me. Yeah, little Mitchell was wild. The little murder mommy, so there was a couple of them that had heart that was talking slick. And we was like, no, Shorty, easy with your mouth. You're getting robbed. Give it up. Took it, and all that, and then just chill. Right? You're not going to get hurt, but don't start talking crazy, like, because Hook was hands-on. His hand was unisex, right? Male or female, he don't give a fuck. You getting the business.